Alright, question A. Question A is a solve question. Solve questions means that at the end of the question we should have x equals something, x equals something. That's what we're looking to do. Now the problem is I have cos 2x and I have 1 minus sine 2 sine x. First problem is this double angle and this angle here, they're not compatible. I need to go to my log tables and figure out a good substitute for cos 2x, okay? Okay. So what I'm going to get here is I'm going to read that cos 2x is equal to cos squared x minus sine squared x. Okay? So I'm going to turn my formula into cos squared x minus sine squared x equals 1 minus 2 sine x. Now the problem here is, in all of these equations, I'm looking to only have one trigonometric function, sine, cos or tan on its own. I currently have cos and sine, means I need to get rid of one of them. I'm going to look at cos squared x and I'm going to read this formula here. Cos squared x plus sine squared x equals 1. Cos squared x therefore is 1 minus sine squared x. When I replace cos squared x with 1 minus sine squared x, you'll now notice that the only trigonometric function I'll have left is sine x. We're going to get 1 minus 2 sine squared x equals 1 minus 2 sine x. Forget that it's a trigonometric function. Replace sine x with any letter you want. I'm going to use y. This becomes this equation here. And the great thing is we all know how to solve an equation like that. It's going to turn into 2y squared minus 2y. And the ones will cancel, won't they? Now guys, how do you solve an equation like this? Take out the 2y and you get y minus 1 equals 0. Y equals 0. Y equals 1. Do you understand? Now, this in fact means that sine x equals 0 or sine x equals 1. Now, does the description in the question tell us anything about how far we need to go? Description says we have to go from 0 to 360 or 0 to 2 pi. 0 to 360. Okay guys, starting off, looking at your tables on page 13. X equals 0. It's also going to equal 360 because sine 0 and sine 360 are 0. On page 13, the only value that gets you plus 1 is 90. Here's our three answers here. It's going to be 0, 90 degrees and 360 degrees. Please remember to convert into pi radians, divide by 180 and put a pi beside it. So it's going to turn into 0, pi over 2 and 2 pi. Okay, yes Connor?
Is sine x 1 also equal to 180?
No, it says on page 13 that sine 180 is 0, sine 270 is minus 1 and 360 is the next time. Okay? Alright guys, moving on to the next question. What one do you want me to do? I'll do number 12 because I've already done 14. Okay? Okay? Number 12. You go. Number 12. 2 sine theta plus 1 equals 1 over sine 2 theta. So sine theta. What do we let sine theta equal? Y. And we're going to get 2y plus 1 equals 1 over y. Give them a common denominator of y. Y squared over y. It's going to be y over y. Cancel the y's. Bring over the 1. And what we get here is this, guys. What we're going to get is 2y squared plus y minus 1 equals 0. Reference number of minus 2. We're going to get plus 2 minus 1. 2y squared plus 2y plus y minus 1 equals 0.
And minus 1.
That is a minus y, thank you. Okay. And so what's going to happen here is factorize 2y bracket y plus 1 minus 1 into y plus 1 equals 0. 2y minus 1 y plus 1 equals 0. Patrick. Okay. So basically y equals a half and y equals minus 1. Once again, I'm going to page 13 of my notes. I'm going to look for a half. So sine A equals a half, and sine A, or was it x, was it to begin with? Oh, sorry, it was theta to begin with. Okay, equals minus 1. Okay, so we're going to look at the first one, right? So it says it's a half when theta equals 30. Theta equals 30 is my first answer, 30 degrees. And theta equals minus 1 is going to be 270 degrees, okay? Now there are two answers I have, and these two answers are for this range here. I'm not allowed to go above 360. Have to convert them into radians. So when I convert them into radians, what's going to happen is this. I'm going to get oh, it has them already converted in radians for me. It's going to be pi over 6. And the other one is 3 pi over 2. Okay? Now, the problem here is, if you remember the circle, okay? What happens is, every single time you complete a full circle, you can still get the same answer of a half. Okay? So when you start off here, your first answer is a half, which is located in here. We also forgot, what else did we forget, guys? We also forgot the second quadrant, didn't we? Because sine is positive in the first and second quadrant. So what's the other answer? What's the rule for the second quadrant? 180 minus reference, which is going to be, anybody? 150. We forgot about 150. Minus 1 is only minus 1 once, okay? Down the very bottom here, okay? So look what happens. We go through our first answer. Oh, sorry, and that's 5 pi over 6 then. So look, we go through our first answer, which is here. That's our first answer. We've hit our second answer. Our third answer is down here. And then we're rotating around again. When's our next answer? It's going to be 390. You're adding on 360, aren't you? So guys, please remember, these answers are going to repeat over and over again. So when they repeat, okay, what happens is it's going to be theta equals pi over 6 plus 2n pi. What does the 2n pi stand for? The number of revolutions. It's also going to be 5 pi over 6 plus 2n pi, and the last answer is going to be 3 pi over 2 plus the number of revolutions, because the answers keep repeating itself. Sine 30 is the same as sine 390. Sine 390, if you just keep adding on 360, you get the same answer. Okay? So guys, that's it. Alright.
Another way of using degrees.
This answer was in degrees, okay? This is, it asked me specifically for radians, but this answer was in degrees, okay? This here is 30 degrees. This here, 2 pi represents 360, so it's actually 360 times n. That's the answer in degrees mode, so you can see that this is adding on, the n is the number of revolutions, so that keeps adding on your answer. So if I was to keep going around, my first answer would be 30, 390, and it just keeps going up by 360 every time, and that's the number of answers you can get. And then you do the same thing for this one, which would be 150 plus 360n. So your first answer is 150, your second answer is going to be 510 onwards. Okay, you can't write them all out. Alright guys, in 23, unlike your leaving cert, it gives you a hint. Sometimes the leaving cert, they aren't guaranteed to give you a hint. So I'd write this down as sine A minus sine B. I go to my formula table and I try and find it. Okay? So getting the first part shouldn't be a big deal. It's located on page 15 of your tables down the bottom. And it says that sine A sine B is 2 cos A plus B over 2 sine A minus B over 2. So what happens is A is 4x, B is 2x. So what we're going to get is 2 cos, it's going to be 6x over 2, which is 3x sine x, okay? Now, I still have a problem here, right? So that's the answer to the first part. It's correct. Now, answering the second part is going to be difficult, because what it says here is this. It says sine 4x minus sine 2x equals 0. It's basically the same thing as this thing being equal to 0. Okay? Now, my problem here is I don't actually, there's no way. What are my options for cos 3x? If I look in the tables, okay, I could do cos 2x plus x. But the problem with this is, it's going to get me a big massive sequence, isn't it? It's going to make it bigger than it was. So, remember what this is. It's 2 multiplied by one number, multiplied by another number equals 0. So what does that mean? It means that I can cross off the 2, and it means two things. It means cos 3x equals 0, or it means sin x equals 0. Now the question is, when is cos x equal to 0? What numbers? What numbers is it equal to 0? Look at your logbook, page 13. 90 degrees, the first one. The next one? 270. After that? Add on 360, guys. Add on 360. 450. Add on another 360. 270 plus 360. 630. Now guys, the reason why I did this is I have to divide each of these numbers by 3. So x equals 30, 90, 150 and 210. What's the problem with 210? Too big. So get rid of the 210. Alright? Alright guys. Next one. When is sine x equal to 0? Read it on your tables. 0 degrees and 100 and there's no point looking at anything else because I don't have to divide. Do you understand? I only go further up when I have a number in front of the x because I then have to divide it. So that's going to get me 0 and 180. Okay guys? So look,